Well, hey fans, welcome back to another movie review, and today we're talking about the Fantastic Four First Steps. So before I get to the rest of the review, I'd like to thank the sponsor for this video, MoviePass. So MoviePass is back and it's better than ever. It's a subscription-based ticketing service, and I've been using it for a few months now, and I just think it's great. And they have this neat new black card, and it feels great, and it's very easy to use. And unlike your AMC A-List or your Regal Unlimited, you can use MoviePass at almost any theater, and it is very simple to use. They now go off of a points-based system, so you pay every month, and that will vary depending on the market that you live in, and you'll get a certain amount of points to use for movies. And the price in terms of points for the movies varies depending on the day of the week that you go to the theater, the time of the showing, and how recently the movie has been released. So what you'll do is you'll go into the app, you'll click the movie that you want to see, unlock the card, and then pay. You can also pick the online option for just a few more points if you don't want to wait in line. So again, thank you to MoviePass. So The Fantastic Four First Steps is a superhero family film directed by Matt Shakman, starring Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Ebon Moss-Bachrach, and Joseph Quinn. And it follows the Fantastic Four, this family of superheroes, on a separate Earth from 616. This is Earth 828, and they must protect their world from the coming of Galactus, who wishes to eat their world and take their newborn son, Franklin Richards. I am a big fan of the Fantastic Four, a big fan of the original Tim Story movies. While they are dated, I did enjoy the stories he was trying to tell. I think that he got the family dynamic right in those movies. The Josh Trank version that came out in 2015, the first half of that movie is great, but everybody knows the story behind that, how Fox decided to intervene and basically reshape the whole second half of the movie, and it's horrible. But like the beginning of that movie, the body horror dark take he was starting was great. Unfortunately, that didn't end well. So now Marvel Studios finally has the rights back. They bought Fox. They're able to make their own version. It's taken forever to get this going. Originally, it was John Watts who was hired to direct this film, but after shooting No Way Home, he just felt like he needed a break. So Feige and Marvel Studios brought on Matt Shakman from WandaVision to take control. And I think Matt Shakman nailed it. He delivered a fantastic movie. The story is great. The character interaction is great. The emotional impact that it has is wonderful. And apparently, Shakman and Marvel talked to Gareth Edwards when he made The Creator to see how they can make a visually stunning film on a smaller budget. And it worked out. The black hole scenes, the space stuff in this movie looks great. There's a lot of people who are comparing it to Interstellar, and I definitely understand where they got that from, because it looks like a Nolan movie in that instance. I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed this version of the Fantastic Four family. How it compares to the original families, it is kind of different. I feel like the Invisible Womans in all of the movies are very similar in power strength. This Reed Richards, in terms of his stretching abilities, which they keep very minimal. We don't see a lot of his stretching, but I think he is probably weaker than the Ian Grufford version, considering like how he uses his powers. He's more kind of like a Spider-Man in the way he kind of like swings around the city. The version of the Thing played by Ebon Moss-Bachrach in this movie is decidedly stronger than the Michael Chiklis version. And the Human Torch, it's kind of really hard to compare them. We do see the Human Torch in this film absorb fire from a burning city, which is something we have not seen the Human Torch do. But the Chris Evans version was stated that he could go supernova, which is decidedly hotter than we've ever seen any other Human Torch go, especially like in this movie. He doesn't seem like he can get that hot. So there are things that are very different and things that are similar, and I enjoyed this different take. You know, there was a lot of hubbub about Pedro Pascal being cast as Reed Richards because Pedro Pascal is Hispanic. And I kind of wish that they kind of dove into that more. If we got to see, hey, this is a Hispanic Reed Richards. We got to see him speak Spanish or do something that kind of plays into that heritage. But they really just they cast a great actor. Pedro Pascal is a great actor. He's a chameleon. He can get into any role. And I feel like that's just what they did here. Is not really a big deal that Reed is Hispanic. I mean, his last name is still Richard. It's not like Ricardo Richards would have also been like a little nod to it, but they just kind of they wanted a good actor, and I think they got a great job. And also, one thing Pedro does with his version of Reed Richards that's different than the rest is that he clearly seems to be somewhere on the spectrum, whether it's like an Asperger's or an autism. He is somewhere on that mental divergentness that definitely plays into why he's so smart and why he's able to figure things out that other people cannot. So I did enjoy that change as well. Vanessa Kirby, fantastic. She's clearly the second lead of the movie. She's a rising star. She's the emotional weight of this film. Ebon Moss-Bachrach, who is a Jewish actor in The Thing, is a Jewish character. They kind of lean into that a little bit, but not a lot. I feel like they could have done more with his Jewish heritage. They could have done more with the whole fact that, you know, The Thing always hates the way he looks, the way he used to be this beautiful man and was turned into this rock monster. And I think they're kind of save that for the future, maybe even in Doomsday, because, you know, in the comics, you know, Doom, hey, I can turn you back to normal using Franklin's powers. We'll get into that another time. But yeah, there's more they could have done there. They could have done more with the fact that Johnny's a playboy. But overall, like I said, I enjoyed this movie. Shia LaBeouf, the version of Silver Surfer in this movie, she looks great. The power set is very similar to Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. Her being able to phase through stuff, being really fast. I enjoyed the take on it. The only thing I wish they had done more for her was explain that she is actually Norn Rad's lover, his wife in some aspects. Because like in a multiverse saga, when you have a multiverse, there are a few choices that differ that makes a different world. So I would have liked that they had shown or had explained that Norn was supposed to be the original choice for Galactus' hero, but something happened where it had to be her. And I think they could have, that's like a few seconds of dialogue they could have slipped in. But I really enjoyed her character. I really enjoyed the acting ability. I enjoyed the way she looked. I enjoyed that they gave her human eyes, which the previous Silver Surfer and the Rise of the Silver Surfer, his eyes were also like covered in silver. So you couldn't really see him emote as much. But yeah, great take. And like I said, that scene where they're like running away from her basically because she's that powerful near the black hole, amazing, beautiful, stunning. The score by Michael Giacchino, great. I think Michael Giacchino is just fantastic composer, and I can't wait to hear him do more Marvel stuff. And back to Matt Shakman. Marvel knowing that they had this amazing movie, I don't know why they didn't offer him an Avengers movie. Maybe he'll get the one after they do this whole thing with the Russo brothers and they reset the universe. We'll see, but I think he's probably going to be up there with Coogler now as one of their golden directors that they're just going to put on a lot of movies moving forward. Now, are there other things that I didn't like? Yes, and I don't want to harp on those, but more of that is kind of the fault of Marvel Studios. This is the first film of Phase 6. It is leading right into Doomsday. Of course, Spider-Man Brand New Day will come next, but I feel like there should have been more connections to the multiverse. There should have been more connections to other Reed Richards and other universes. They could have done so much more, but Marvel's really having to reshape exactly how they're going to end this saga, and I think they didn't do enough with making this a multiverse movie. Like, I feel like if more movies were set in other universes like this one, like Eternals should have been a multiverse movie set on a different Earth, and it would have been very similar. Like, I feel like they could have done more in connecting this to, like, with the TVA, to Doctor Strange. They could have done more to kind of connect this to 616 while keeping it in its own separate place. In terms of a score, I'm going to give it a decent 8.9 out of 10. This is easily my top 5 multiverse saga movies, and I just think Shakman did a great job, and I can't wait to see a sequel. They need to fast track. I can't wait to see what he does next. And I almost forgot Ralph Ineson as Galactus. I think some of the visual effects on him did seem a little wonky at times, but I love Ralph Ineson's voice. I love what he was doing with the character. He definitely felt and looked terrifying. And there were times where he sounded like the late, great Tony Todd. I was like, man, I wonder if Tony Todd had survived, would he have been the voice? But who knows? Well, thank you guys again for joining me for this movie review. Remember, you can find the full review on YouTube and the website, flipfrogllc.com/flixfrog. Remember, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Reddit. And please, pretty please, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I'll be seeing you.